Thank you. Once again, you're welcome. We're delighted to have you today for this AFAAS-CIMMYT webinar. And we have participants who are joining us from across various regions. And we appreciate taking the time to be part of this important conversation. Just a few housekeeping rules is that this webinar is being recorded for documentation and for sharing purposes. And then also we have translation available in both English and French. To be able to enable translation, you have to go down. There is an icon of a globe. When you click on it, you can select your preferred language. And then also, we request you that in case you're not speaking, kindly mute your microphone to avoid disruption during this call. I would like to take this opportunity once again to welcome all the participants onto this call. And we have just a very short, minimalistic agenda, whereby we shall be walking through the various digital tools. This webinar is in support of a collaboration between AFAAS and CIMMYT, and we are going to be presenting the respective digital tools. I'm going to hand over to my ED, Dr. Lillian Behasi, who is going to be giving us the opening remarks and the welcoming remarks, and we'll give a more deeper insight of the rationale for the collaboration for this respective webinar. I would like to hand over to my ED, Dr. Lillian.
Thank you very much, Daniel and the team, for putting up this webinar. We are so grateful for each of us that is here today. It is my great pleasure to welcome you all to this important webinar, which marks a strategic milestone in our collaboration between AFAAS and CIMMYT. Today, we are not just introducing these tools that Daniel has said, and not just launching a conversation, but we are advancing a shared commitment to transform agriculture extension in Africa through digital innovation. We all know about the importance of digital extension and advisory services within our CADAP agenda. Digitalization is a critical aspect that has been mentioned. And our gathering today is anchored in the Abidjan 2 Action Plan and the One CGIAR and ARIS Partnership Agreement. This agreement has gone through a process and it was finally signed in May 2025 during the Science Week. And I want to recognize the people who have gone before us to ensure that this happened. These commitments challenge us to move beyond fragmented efforts, to work collaboratively, and to accelerate our journey towards sustainable and sustained zero hunger by 2030. That is within our SDGs. This requires nothing less than inclusive engagement, which we are having today, joint planning, and the co-development of initiatives that truly respond to the realities of our farmers. We are here as partners. Many times we talked about reaching the last mile. It is important that as we work and think about reaching the last mile, we see how can we co-create solutions together that will be able to enable us reach there. Science is there. Research has been done. Digitalization is talked about. But today it's more of an engagement to see how do we co-create this solution that will deliver to the last mile. At AFAAS, we believe that agriculture extension and advisory services are the bridge between research and farmers. That's why we have the One CGIAR, we have CIMMYT, we have the others. But we are here as extensionists. What is our role? Our role is to link and to ensure that we are a link that transforms innovations to impact. Innovations have been developed, but Are we just going to allow them to be at the shelves? How do you transform these innovations that they're able to get to impact and bring impact not only to the farmers, but even to the extensionists and to any other of us, whom I always say when we talk about last mile, it's not just the farmer. It comes at a certain time with the extensionists at the last mile at that level. So how are we able to transform these innovations into impact? Our mandate as AFAAS is to strengthen this bridge across Africa, ensuring that smallholder farmers, especially women and youth, have timely access to relevant, actionable, and tailored knowledge. Digital solutions are no longer an option. And as we talk about them not being an option, we also say the human face is also not an option. Therefore, how do we integrate these two? Both are essential in expanding our reach, enhancing performance, and also delivering services at scale, which is critical to us. AFAAS plays the key role of leading the scaling within the implementation of the Abidjan 2 action plan. This is what we are talking about. This is where CIMMYT and AFAAS collaboration comes in. CIMMYT, suite of adaptable digital platforms covering farmer profiling, extension worker networks, learning systems, and AI-driven advisory, offers powerful toolkit. Through our network of country fora, AFAAS is uniquely positioned to localize, adapt, scale these tools so that they respond to the diverse contexts, the diverse languages, and the needs of the African fora. And that's why we are here, so that we are able to ensure that all that we are doing as a team, we are co-creating solutions that will be able to reach the last mile. Today's session is designed to do more than just introduce the tools. It is about building our alignment. It's about engaging early adopters and also beginning the process of co-creating sustainable models for long-term impact. Therefore, each of us will be going through it. As the presentations are being made, we are reflecting on what is on, and we are seeing, are we among the early adopters? Further engagements will go on to see how we're going to engage the early adopters so that even as we talk about bringing down these tools, they're adopted. But they're not just adopted as they are. We have co-created solutions that are adaptable to the African or the continental desires that we have. Therefore, we'll explore 4 key platforms: the e-agroecology, the extension registry, the learning network platform, and the AgriTutor AI. Each of these has the potential to transform how we register, reach, train, advise farmers, and extensionists across the continent. These are critical, not just because of the projects that we're implementing, but it's critical to us at the continent. When we look at one of the projects that we are implementing in 5 of our countries supported by AGRA, we are talking about registering the extension staff, registering the farmer, reaching out to a number of them, training, and even providing advisory services in digital tools, in agri-entrepreneurship, and also the different content that is available. Therefore, this tool will not just respond to the needs of the projects that we are handling, but we are looking at it, how can it sustainably enhance the agriculture extension in the continent. Therefore, I encourage each of us during this process to be keen to engage. We'll have a session of active engagement, ask questions, challenge ideas, because these ideas that have already been tried elsewhere, where possible and you feel it's not practical here, let's feel free to challenge. Let's share our perspectives. All of us, it will be open to us. And as Daniel has said, we'll continue discussing through the chats as we are going on. Your feedback today will shape a collaborative framework that reflects both the technological innovation and the grounded realities of our farmers. Therefore, we are not just going to look at technology, but we are going to look, how is this grounded in reality? And that's why we are happy to have all of us to engage and to build onto this so that we can have the African solution that we are all looking for. Let this webinar be the first step in building a digital transformation agenda for agriculture extension and advisory services, building on the other digital platforms that we are working on within the projects that we have. Like currently, we are thinking about one in Nigeria supported by Gates Foundation. But let's ensure that as we continue to build this, they are applicable to our context. And that's why we are here. I'm looking forward to having engagements that will ensure we are having a solution that we all need. Thank you very much. And I look forward to engaging more as we go through this process. Thank you. Over to you, Daniel.
Thank you very much for those great remarks. I'd just like to highlight that as we jump onto the digitalization drive, digitalization is one of the key KPIs that has been outlined by the African Union. And AFAAS is responsible for agricultural extension services within the region. And we are leading the digitalization drive within this. So some of the technology solutions have got to be scaled. At this point, allow me to give the opportunity to Satish, who is going to walk us through the different digital tools and the digital platforms, which we shall be engaging in the discussions afterwards. Satish?
Thanks much, Danny, and for the introduction, and thanks much, Dr. Lillian, for setting up the context. It was very relevant and apt with those key remarks. So as Dr. Lillian just mentioned, right? I mean, so this webinar, we are just focusing in terms of how we could leverage digital tools and technologies for scaling the impact of the last mile in Africa. So that's what our key focus is, to kind of see and understand what are the tools that is available in different places and how we could kind of leverage that and how we could take it forward together as one entity in the future, right? So that's how we are going to present. So once again, good afternoon, everyone. Good morning and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Satish Nagaraji. I'm an ICT4D specialist based out of CIMMYT's Hyderabad office in India. But I work across, though I am based out of Hyderabad office in India, but I work across Sub-Saharan Africa and Latin America as well. So yeah, with that background, I'll kind of have a couple of slides, a few slides, and then some examples as well in terms of how different digital tools and technologies could work and how we could take it forward together. I'm just going to share my screen. Just confirm if it is visible to all. I hope this is visible to everyone. Maybe one of you, if you could confirm, that's great. Thank you. Okay, so just to kind of give an quick intro about CIMMYT. So CIMMYT is a cutting-edge, not-for-profit agriculture research institute, okay, which is kind of works towards improving quality, quantity, and dependability of production systems of basic cereals such as maize, wheat, triticale, sorghum and millets and other crops through applied agriculture science. Okay, and CIMMYT is one of the 15 CGIAR centers, and CIMMYT is headquarters is based out of Mexico in Latin America, and it was established in 1966, where Dr. Borlong was there. I mean, he was one of the founding fathers, right? And CIMMYT has offices across Latin America, Sub-Saharan Africa. You could see it from the map, and also Asia as well. I don't think CIMMYT is new to many of you here, but yeah. And within CIMMYT, I kind of, so within CIMMYT, there is a program called Sustainable Agri-Food Systems. And within Sustainable Agri-Food Systems, we have a unit which focuses on digital innovations, data, and digital monitoring. Okay, and I lead the digital innovations part of the unit, and what we do, right? I mean, why we are here. So we look at two key research questions. One is to kind of look at what are the technology innovations, how and what emerging digital technologies we could leverage to accelerate the impact of agriculture. Okay, and how we could take it to farmers. So that's what we kind of see. So here it is mostly in terms of what are the new key technologies, emerging technologies that we could adopt for agri-food systems. So here the outputs would be more, yeah, I'll come to the outputs. And the second question is more in terms of how these technologies can be taken to the farmers, extension, to the stakeholders, okay, in a very inclusive manner and a responsible manner, right? So one is in terms of more looking at technology solutions, innovations itself, and the other aspect of the research that we do is looking at what are the key socio-techno enablers that help these technologies to kind of achieve the impact. So the outputs of these two is like one is in terms of the technology innovations, the outputs are tools, platforms, frameworks, architectures, and other things. And the other thing is in terms of more of research publications, toolboxes, frameworks, okay, policy support, and all those kind of things. And the approach we follow is like we don't, I mean, we are a research organization and we don't want to kind of sit and wait until everything is completed and then like release a final product. What we do is we kind of start with a minimum viable product. Okay, then kind of work with farmers, stakeholders, fine tune it, get feedback, fine tune it, keep testing. Okay, and then evaluate and then like kind of progress on this. And this is like kind of the cycle process that we follow. And we always believe in co-creation. Okay, so whatever we do is co-creation. And even this webinar, as Dr. Lillian pointed out, it's more of co-design and co-creation of process that we are going to kind of follow to kind of see how we could take leverage digital solutions to impact African agri-food systems. And our approach is always human-centric, where we kind of work with the stakeholders to in terms of designing the product and the solutions itself. Yeah, and if you kind of look at why, I mean, when I was talking like hyper localization, when I was talking about co-creation, okay, and human-centric design, hyper localization is an important element of it. Okay, so if you look at agronomic models, climate analytics, soil analysis, crop science, science-based innovations, which is more of an upstream thing which comes from scientists in research institutes, national research institutes, or advanced research institutes. These are the outputs that they come up with, okay, which are very relevant, which are very important and key for the farmers, right? And at the other end of the spectrum, if you look at, you have very hyper local realities. The decision making needs change from place to place, region to culture, region to region. Availability and accessibility of information, okay, risks are different, everything is different. Okay, so if you look at this, on the left hand side of the spectrum is the science, which has like the outputs. On the right hand side is the farmers, okay, where things change very rapidly and very region specific and kind of things. Okay, so what is missing in the middle, right? That's very key. And what is missing in the middle is actually, I think this is the right group of stakeholders or people or who can kind of actually address the missing and kind of the missing middle thing and kind of connect the science to the farmers, right? And I think that's what the extension does. And for doing this, we need to be very, what do you call, co-create, participatory. With those approaches, we should be able to kind of create innovations, digital innovations at scale. Okay, to scale that, we need digital innovations. Okay, and that needs hyper localization, and that actually can come from this group that we are talking together now today. Okay, so and that's why it is very important. So we have the science, we have the farmers, but what is not happening is the interaction or the connection between both of them, and that's, I think, each one of our responsibility whoever is present in this webinar, right? I hope everybody agrees to that. Maybe if I can have a thumbs up on that, that would be great for me to proceed. I mean, do you agree on this, that we are the people between the things? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Now, in what approach the CIMMYT digital innovations work. Okay, so we don't want to kind of create individual products, individual platforms, and then reinvent the wheel for every use case, every project, right? So what we have come up with is something slightly different. Imagine like you have a house, you're building a house. Okay, so what happens if you build an individual bungalow or an individual house? What happens is like then you have to get your water connection, your drainage connection, your electricity, everything. Okay, and if you're building it in silos, then you have to kind of drop all the lines from faraway places, and you have to take all the efforts to do it. Okay, but what happens in a community building? Okay, where like if it's kind of a housed what do you call, a gated community kind of a thing, or an apartment. Okay, so now what happens is like the apartment is like the structure which is built by a builder, which has several flats in that, and each flat is going to be almost same, or maybe different. Like some flats could be two bedrooms, and some flats could have 3 bedrooms, but like it's kind of a common design. Okay, however, anybody who wants to come into the flat, they could look at the flat, they could choose which floor, what size they need, which direction they need, whether they want east facing, west facing, or whatever it is. And then they can choose the flat, and then the flat, and have the flat customized to their needs in terms of the color, in terms of the furniture, in terms of the interiors, in terms of the accessories, utilities, and everything, right? So that's how it works. And the common infrastructure comes from the apartment itself. The common infrastructure in terms of your plumbing, your electricals, your what do you call, play area and other things comes from the common infrastructure, which is from the flat itself. So we are also kind of adopting a similar kind of approach, where we are trying to kind of put digital public infrastructure, okay, which can house multiple use cases or projects or innovations within that, okay, which can be customized and used by the use cases themselves. So I would kind of say that you're the use cases. Imagine that you're a use case. Okay, so you want to kind of run a advisory service system. Okay, instead of you starting from the scratch, what if you're kind of only leasing out an apartment, and a flat from an apartment, and kind of customizing it to your needs, your context, your social realities, your needs, your farmer or extension needs, and then building up and kind of owning it as your thing. Okay, because ownership is key. Owning it up as your thing, branding as your thing, and then utilizing it with your address, right? So that's what we are trying to kind of try doing in a couple of our platforms, which is successfully working in some of the use cases. Yeah, and yeah. So you have the apartment, and then you have the apartment design. So you can choose the color, you can choose the bed size, bedroom, you can choose the dining table, you can choose the utilities, you can choose the bath fittings and everything based on your tastes, your needs, and everything. And how does this help? Because if everybody starts, imagine like all the AFAAS members sitting here, if all your country and all of you want to kind of have advisory system, individual doing it, reinventing the wheel, and it wouldn't be efficient, it wouldn't be scalable, right? It becomes a bit of silos. What we are trying to kind of do is it's a unified service, okay, which brings everybody on board, which can be maintained at a very easy level. But the content, the content, the content. Okay, the key thing, which is the content, and the localization is going to come from you, from each of the use cases. So that's how we have kind of planned. And so basically, if you look at the structure, CIMMYT is kind of having the tech solution and the research, okay, members or use cases, okay, they're bringing the use case and the context and the local context. AFAAS as a facilitator, and all of us together as to co-design, co-implement, and co-learn the whole process, okay, to kind of have impact at scale. So this is the approach that we kind of follow in most of the things. Okay, so today I'll kind of want to talk about 3 specific platforms or tools that CIMMYT has been kind of working in the last 1.5 years or so. Okay, specifically, and like 2 of the tools are like very recent ones. Like for the last 2 years or so, but there is one which has been there for almost 10 years, a decade. Okay, so I'll be talking about these three. Okay, so AI is very common. AI is now in hands of everyone. Okay, so that is very key. So we kind of also understand AI in agriculture can do wonders. Okay, are doing wonders. I mean, or at least started doing wonders in many cases. What was only a dream a couple of years ago, and what was only aspiration a couple of years ago, is now actually materializing in most of the cases, thanks to development of technology, big data, and connectivity, and so on and so forth. I mean, I'm not saying that it is fully there, but we are almost there, and better place than we used to be, at least pre-COVID. Okay, right? I mean, and I'm sure everybody would agree to that. So with that thing, AgroTutor is a GenAI-based extension service platform and a advisory management platform as well, which could convert, if you refer to my the slide down, the signs and the farmer, the bridging thing, right? So it actually helps in bridging that gap. I mean, basically helps the extension services to kind of better engage, better connect, and better be with farmers for their support services, right? And the other one is AgroTutor Academy, which is a learning management system. Okay, and it's a WhatsApp-based learning management system which helps the last mile learners. Okay, it could be farmers, it could be extension workers, it could be technicians. Okay, to learn, adopt new skills through WhatsApp itself. Okay, so WhatsApp is the channel here where they could learn, I mean, kind of see audio, video, text, okay, images and everything, and learn as if they are learning in any other thing. And they could also kind of get themselves evaluated, get a certificate and everything. So primarily there's a learning management system which each of the members, each of the use cases can create courses, micro courses, okay, and they could use the platform to host and deliver the content. I'll kind of talk about these things in detail in a bit and also show you how it works. And e-agrology, and the key for any digital agriculture services in agriculture is primarily data. Okay, without data, nothing can be done. It's kind of building highway without any what do you call fuel thing, right? So without fuel, you cannot have cars on the highways. So data is the key. Data is the new oil, as we all kind of been hearing for a long time. So we have platforms, systems which can help in collecting, crowdsourcing data from the last mile to take actions at the first level. I mean, on the top level, or for the decision support itself. So we have a platform called e-agrology. Okay, so with these three platforms, I'll kind of explain you how these works and what would be each of our roles, and how we could kind of scale this up to each of the use cases, countries, okay, contexts, so that we can reach the impact at scale. Okay, first is AgroTutor AI framework. Okay, so on the y-axis, if you could see on the left-hand side y-axis, you have a lot of cubes, squares, which kind of talk about AI chatbot, model marketplace, crowdsourcing data, audio, video surveys, push alerts, step-by-step guides, WhatsApp training courses, benchmarking, technical assistance, one-on-one technical assistance. So these are all what you call the features, or the features or modules of the AgroTutor platform. Okay, today I'll be specifically talking about AI chatbot and some of the other linked things to that. Okay, I'll skip some of the things because I don't want to kind of confuse too much in the beginning. Okay, so that's what. And on the x-axis is the localization. How we kind of localize. We use prompt engineering, language, text to image generator. Okay, so those are the things that we kind of use in terms of the technologies for as our localization strategy. And with this X and Y, what could be achieved is some examples of what we could achieve is in the Z axis. If you can kind of see seed systems, irrigation, soil health, market info, grain quality, weather patterns, yield optimization, climate adaptation, and all those things can be addressed. Okay, and these are some of the things that we are already doing in one use case or other. And so just to kind of summarize, AgroTutor enables the provision of highly tailored advice to stakeholders engaged across agri-food value chain. When I mean stakeholders here, it's farmers plus extension plus technicians at the base, okay, based on the roles, functions, precision location, cultural factors, and digital maturity. So these are the hyper localization thing that we are talking about. So whatever we are going to kind of provide is going to make sure that it is catered to the roles and functions of that particular target group, based on the location, based on the cultural factors, based on the digital maturity, and many other factors as well. And just to kind of, so AgroTutor, just to kind of flag something here, AgroTutor is not restricted to a fixed scope or delivered as a specific product or channel. Okay. It is not just a AI-based chat only. It is beyond that. Okay. But today I'll be talking about AI-based chat. Okay. But it is beyond that. And it is for different actors, for different delivery through what you call different delivery mechanisms and exchange knowledge delivery in a way that's relevant to all of us. Okay. To all of us in terms of all the stakeholders. Okay. So that is what it is. And let me kind of take you through the first use case, which is basically a chatbot. Okay. How many of you here have used ChatGPT or Gemini? Or is there anyone who has still not ventured yourself in ChatGPT or Gemini? Any thumbs up or? Yeah. So I'm sure like many of us would have, many of us are already using it. Okay. Or this thing. Okay. But what if there is a ChatGPT kind of a thing for farmers? Would that be useful? I assume yes. But even we would have faced a lot of issues with ChatGPT or any other AI, generative AI based system where like you ask something and it creates a lot of, it gives, what do you call it, thinks too much. It gives a lot of responses that is not available. Okay. It takes from different sources. It kind of becomes over creative and tries to kind of compel us and make us believe that whatever it gives is good. And we all, and we know that's not correct, right? So what we have done is we thought, okay, let farmers have this, but we also need to be very clear that we are not hallucinated by the generative AI thing. So what we have done is we have kind of created an infrastructure whereby, okay, the AgroTutor platform, any use case, any organization, any entity who wants to kind of offer a chat bot to farmers or extension workers, okay, could come to the platform, create their own knowledge base. Okay, which means the content from where your chat GPT, just an example, where your chat bot is going to, the AI is going to kind of search for, is going to come from the resources that you have provided. It is not going to go outside and look. It is only kind of going to look into what you have provided. Okay, it is kind of you're making the machine to kind of read the textbooks that you want to the system to read. Okay, and only respond from that, not from outside. Okay, and imagine that going to be in an audio. So you train the thing with your local knowledge. Okay, you kind of bring in all your advisories, bulletins, all the local materials that you have been producing with the universities, extension departments, and national research institutes. Bring them together for that particular country, that particular crop, that particular this thing, and train the computer, train the machine, train the system, and then ask the system questions, and the system looks from those reference materials and kind of responds to you. And what if this could be in audio? Because farmers typing is going to be difficult. What this could be in audio? And what if this could be delivered on WhatsApp? So what if farmers could kind of click the, what do you call, the WhatsApp service, the microphone on the WhatsApp, and ask a question and respond and get a response back in audio itself, so that the reading literacy, the reading, the literacy is not an issue there. Okay, though digital literacy might be an issue. Okay, but what if that comes? So that's where we kind of thought about it, and we kind of have this AgroTutor Gen AI platform, okay, which will help in kind of delivering chatbot based services GenAI-based question and answer responses from farmers, extension workers. And this we have tested in pilot tested in 3 different regions and countries, one in India, one in Kenya with about 150 farmers. I've personally tested it. Getting feedbacks and implementing that. And in Mexico, Spanish language, we are kind of scaling it up. And what it needs, okay, now imagine like, okay, I've said this, okay, do you want to want you to kind of quickly go through how it works, okay? So since I don't know Swahili very well, except for Jumbo and Karibu and Asante Sane, my Swahili is very limited to that. Okay, but I just got some recordings from Daniel and Rosmerita just an hour back and wanted to kind of have this. So there are 2 questions which they asked the system. Okay, I hope you're able to see my WhatsApp screen. Okay, let me show my WhatsApp screen. So I have asked 2 questions to them. From them, and those questions I asked the AgroTutor Academy, AgroTutor GenAI platform. Okay, those questions, I just put those questions in that and I got the responses immediately.
Wakati gani mwenye tunaweza kupanda mahindi? Hii ni saa ya kupanda mahindi ama kuna wakati ingine mwenye tunaweza kupanda mahindi?
I hope you heard the question. Okay. And you see the question was sent at 12:49 India time and I got the response immediately at 12:49.
Kulingana na maelezo yaliyopo, mahindi yanaweza kupandwa wakati wa mwaka ambapo kuna mvua kati ya 400-1200 m. Hivyo, kuna wakati maalum ambao ni bora kwa kupanda mahindi ili kuhakikisha mazao mazuri.
I know sifuri means 00. Maybe it should be reading as 400 to 1200. But we can, we can always train the thing. So this is the question and this is the response. Okay. And then I got another question coming from Daniel and Rosmerita sourced from Tanzania, I believe. Okay. But Swahili. Let's listen to that.
Mimi ni mlimaji mjini Tanga, nchi Tanzania. Nauliza mbolea ya mahindi kiasi gani ninahitaji kuzidisha mavuno yangu shambani?
And the response?
Nashauri kuwa katika hatua za kwanza za ukuaji wa mahindi, mbolea asili ni muhimu kusaidia ukuaji wa mimea hiyo. Kupitia kuchanganya mbolea asili na majani, unaweza kuimarisha rutuba ya udongo na kusaidia mavuno mazuri shambani. Pia, ni muhimu kuzingatia mikakati ya kuimarisha rutuba katika shamba la mahindi ili kuhakikisha mimea inakuwa vizuri na kutoa mavuno bora. Kwa maelezo zaidi unaweza kuzingatia ushauri uliotolewa kwenye tovuti ya Laikipia Gaps kuhusu maandalizi na utunzaji wa mashamba.
So, what do you think? Having this kind of a system, would that be useful for your farmers, your extension workers as well at times? What do you think? A quick hands up. Any quick suggestions or what do you think? Having this and imagine this is going to be from your own content. Okay, not content coming from India, not content coming from other countries outside your region. Okay, what if we have these kind of systems? Okay, and what if I say this is going to be very simple to implement? Okay, what do you call? This is going to be implemented like maybe it takes like a month or 2 for the initial implementation and not much resources required. Do you think that this is going to be something that is going to be helpful? I could see, yeah. So in that sense, like what we could do is, if you're convinced, I hope you're still seeing my slide deck or WhatsApp. Okay, slide deck. Thanks. So what it takes, okay, I told like how it looks like and what all we could do, but what it takes for you to kind of get to there, right? So nothing, I'm going to put up several process and steps, okay, that would involve, yeah.
Yeah, before we leave that,
Yeah, this is for us pivotal and the participants, so our partners online. I think let's reflect on this as because it is contextualized and we had to do some bit of planning to really get your feedback. How do you feel when this was being done and being showed? Reflect on it and let's share if this is the same work that we have been doing as extensionists. To the farmers meet us face to face. They ask you, how much fertilizer do I need for my maize garden? It is a simple question, but look at how the system was able to even bring in other descriptions that are not even what we presented in the question. So reflect and let us know. What is your take on this? How do you feel? How do you perceive this? Charles, I think I can see a hand up. Let's get the actual feedback because for us, we've been engaging with Satish on this, and we also have our own levels of excitement. And so we want to hear from you, please. Let's give us some few minutes, Satish, around maybe 5, and we engage on this and get the feedback. Thank you. I submit to you, Satish.
Yeah, thanks, Rosminda, and maybe Charles, and then Peter.
Thank you very much, Satish, for a great presentation. Actually, from what you've presented through your WhatsApp, that is really good system. Maybe one of the things that made me feel liking it is the kind of precision in terms of answering the questions and actually being able to provide an audio response as well as a text. But then my question maybe to you is about the precision in terms of the different contexts of farmers, the different maybe farmers' knowledge and how they are asking questions, particularly in the audio nature. How does this AI-based perhaps deal with ambiguity in cases there are ambiguity in the question? How does it handle that? Please, thank you.
Yeah. So thanks, Charles. I mean, that's very important question. Okay, so we cannot generalize anything. I mean, that's where hyper-localization is very key. Okay, when we are training the system, okay, we should train the system saying that, okay, if you're responding to questions from, say, dry regions, okay, this would be the characteristics of the dry region, okay, and this is how your responses should be. And we give the context, the content, the knowledge of the dry region and kind of things to the system, okay. And if you're responding to a wet region, say, or a region where other crops may be more or this thing, so then you give the context and the system understands the context, okay. But however, having said that, we are not 100% accurate. We cannot be 100% accurate, and we cannot claim to be 100% accurate, but it also needs some kind of a validation, and that's what I mean. I'll show you the validation process that we take, okay. And also the second level validation process, where in case farmers are not satisfied with the responses in some use cases, in the use case in Bihar, India, what we did, if the farmers were not happy with the responses, then they could kind of say, I'm not happy in the same system, and the question would be forwarded to the extension worker, and the extension worker responds to that through WhatsApp itself, and that delivers to the farmers. Okay, so we have those checks and mechanisms and things in place, and it all depends on the content that we are providing. I mean, the contextualization that we are doing, that is very key. I mean, the system is fine. Okay, you build the apartment, that's all fine. You take a flat, that's all fine. Okay, but when you go on live in, you need to kind of design it to the people who are going to live in. Imagine if there are elder people who are going to kind of live in your apartment, then you cannot have high what do you call slippery floors or anything of that sort. I mean there, what do you call, the flooring, the things would be different for them. And if you have kids who are going to stay in the apartment, in the flat, then you'll have what do you call, the switchboards and everything in taller access location, not the. So those are the contextualization we should make together. Okay, yeah. Peter.
Thank you very much for the presentation. I have really liked it, because we have been struggling on the issue of the extension service providers. There are few, and we have so many farmers coming up. Now, my question is, when you look at this Swahili fashion, are we going to have sorry, are you going to have information within the context in Swahili, or it's going to translate the information which it already has in English to Swahili, because we may have a bit of restriction on the use of language. We do not have a lot of manuals in Swahili. Possibly we basically do it in English, and possibly I think these two can be able to translate to Swahili, or do we have to have Swahili version of the same? Number two, within the interface with the extension service providers, at what level will they be involved? Because if we're looking at the issue of production, which is very critical, there is a feeling that a lot of production initiatives have been done, but what is really lacking is the issue within the downstream of the value chain, and the issue of marketing and preparation for the marketing in all that. Are we going to address all those functions within the value chain?
Okay. So to respond to your first question, in terms of the, I mean, the Swahili thing that you listened was actually coming from, content we actually scrapped from different sources of Calro. Okay. And most of them were in English. Okay. So it was machine translated and validated by some of our team members who knew Swahili. Okay. And then we fine-tuned it. So that shouldn't be an issue. Your English content will be used for conversion. That's auto translated. Okay, we can definitely do auto translation, but it needs a validation before we kind of put it in the system. That's one thing. Okay. And second question, yeah, I do agree and also kind of feel that a lot of things are related to the production systems, but what actually, because production systems to an extent, farmers do understand it. Okay? And especially farmers of the older generation do understand when to cultivate, what to cultivate in many cases, right? Except for any climate resilient situations, but apart from that, generally they will be able to do it. But what is missing is the market access, and that's a important thing. And as I said, the flat is yours. You come occupy a flat. If you want to kind of convert that into an office, convert it. If you want to kind of turn into a school kind of a thing, turn it out. So it actually depends on us. Okay, so when we define a use case, why I've been kind of using the word use case very repeatedly instead of calling it as a project, calling it as a innovation, calling it as an initiative. Use case is because we design it as case by case basis, right? So that's why we kind of want to call it as use case, and you can definitely kind of do the market linkages. But I'm also flagging out one important thing there. For that, we need data. That's very data intensive compared to the production systems. Correct? So that is where the thing comes in. Yeah.
Okay. Satish, Daniel here. Monitoring the chat, there is some feedback that is coming in. I'll quote some of them from Meshak Sikuku. He says, this is great. Farmers would really like it and very helpful. The follow-up comment comes in that this from Abigail Quay. He says this can also bridge some of the communication barrier that makes farmers feel uncomfortable to interact with. But then also Stephen Eckert from Farm Africa raises a question that how can we make it also work for farmers that use the basic mobile phone? Followed up by Jacqueline K. He says, dear Satish, the audio is fine. Can we have some of these questions and be backed up with photos? Like if we are saying Mayindi, let's have some maize photos as well. Veranda asks another question. Will the system probe the user to get more contextual data from the farmer and build a profile which can be used as a reference point for future conversations? And that's seen from the chat. And also, we are also engaging some discussions on the chat in case you have something that cannot be clarified. We are happy to also answer through the chat. Satish?
Yeah, no, these are great questions, and that shows the interest and the aspiration that all of us are having in terms of using this. So the answer is yes, we can have it beyond WhatsApp. Okay, we can use it as an IVRS. Okay, for farmers with the normal feature phone, the button phones, they can have a IVRS. So they can call a IVRS number, ask a question, and the question gets recorded, and the response might come as a callback in 5 minutes or so. Okay, I mean, with that delay, I mean, the system will call back the farmer and kind of say, hey, you have asked this question, and here's the response. That could be in like 2 or 3 minutes time, or we are also working to a kind of have it in the real time, but like this is a much easier option which we can implement right away. But the cost will be slightly higher in terms of having a IVRS for each of the countries and kind of doing it. Slightly the resources intensive. Okay, so that's why we have gone for WhatsApp, because I mean we want to kind of work on different use cases. So that is possible. The idea of having photographs along with that is brilliant, I would say. I mean, this is something which we never thought about, but it is very much possible. Thanks, Jacqueline, for that suggestion. It's very well noted. Thank you. Yeah, any other key questions that I left? And Virender, yes, I mean, the idea is like to have a conversation flow which builds up for all the for that particular farmer with all the use cases and history as they use along. I mean, yeah, that's possible. That's very much possible. Yeah. So
Yes, just a quick one. Apologies, Stephen. I mentioned you're from Farm Africa, you're from Farm Radio. There's still a question that I think needs more clarity, which is about the system probing the user to get more contextual data from the farmer and building a profile which can be used as a reference point for future conversation. I think here they are looking at consolidating and storing historical data such that this historical data can be used in prediction analysis in the future. I hope that gives at least a clear clarification. Satish?
yeah. No, I mean that is very much possible, and that's what I mean. I think initially once we start with 1 season, 2 season, right? I mean, eventually you'll have data, and we can do wonders with that. So, but we have to start with something somewhere.
Okay, that's great. Actually, just
and also, sorry, I did see something about radio, and since farm radio is also here. In fact, what we were trying to kind of do in one of our use cases is to kind of, I mean, one problem I would say in this is like the language, especially in African language, not too many languages. We have translations, the machine translations for too many languages. Okay. So when I wanted to kind of implement this in the Chinyanja Triangle, which is Malawi, Tanzania, and Mozambique, or Zambia. Yeah, the Chinyanja Triangle, sorry. Yeah, in that region. So what we thought is we'll work with the local radio stations, community radio stations, where we could kind of what do you call could be the mediator. Okay, so the question the farmer could ask in their local language and gets recorded. The community radio stations could translate that questions into English and then kind of put it in the system and then get the response, translate back in the local language and broadcast it. So it could be kind of a where broadcast as well. Yeah.
Thank you. Another insight is coming in from Geoffrey. He says that this is Geoffrey Henry. She says, I think this is potentially very useful. However, I would note that as with the majority of the action that is focused on the supply side, providing information, my experience is that we do not spend sufficient time building farmers' capacity to effectively utilize all the information that is available to them. Farmers and communities benefit greatly from training on innovation skills. This is basically where can I source the information in my area? How do I systematically assess the solutions that are possible in my area with a simple experimentation? How to collect basic data and to draw evidence-based conclusions. So while generating new sources of information like this, AI is important. I feel it is equally important that extension personnel also invest time in building these capacities in farmers and farmer groups so that they can also effectively utilize this and other diverse sources of information. Then an interesting question comes from Robsona Volania, that is from Madagascar. How much do we need to invest to build such a tool, and how long does it take to you to operationalize this system? Is it possible to include another country, as I see it is a multi-country tool? For this, I'm just going to say, Volania, we can have this interesting conversation on how we can be able to adopt and scale this to Madagascar, because we have a framework of which we are rolling out this based on the mandate of AFAAS, scaling technology solutions. I think that is very important, and that could be able to answer you. Satish probably could give a response to the initial comment regarding to capacity being built of the farmers to adopt technology. And I'm also happy to share that in the next segment of the respective discussion, we shall be dialoguing how can we effectively scale this and use this? Who can we be able to work with, and who is ready to be able to take this? Let me give you back the floor, Satish.
Yeah, thanks, Danny, for helping me to look at those questions and responding. Yeah, just on the quickly on this one, what do you call the innovation skilling? Yeah, I do agree, and I think that's a major gap which all of us should face. Kind of tackle. So I'll just maybe during the course of my next part of the presentation, I'll be talking about one of the platforms that we have for that. So we can definitely kind of use it. Okay, sure. And I could see another question on the cost and things. As Danny, you said, like we have the framework. Okay, but to keep it very simple, it is much more cost effective than a normal extension service put together for at a scale would do. And then on what it is going to do is like a very kind of what you call acceptable, because we have the base platform built, right? So your base platform has been already built. Okay, what you're going to do is only customize it to your this thing, and I think that is going to be very feasible. And in terms of how much time it requires, very fast. Faster than you would imagine getting what do you call something imported from a different country. So that's as quick as that. I could see Stephen saying that Ulja's dashboard, we are open to work with that. That would be great. The more content, the more language content we have, that's going to be helpful. So maybe Stephen, we can kind of connect later as well. Yeah. But I have other 3 sections to complete, and even within this, so I think Daniel, if you allow me, I could move on to the other part of the presentation.
Yes, sure. Satish, we can proceed, and also I'd like to notify the participants and the members here that we are available and we shall be able to give comprehensive feedback. I thank you. Also through the chat, we can have the conversations. Satish, let's proceed.
Yeah. So you'll see a couple of boxes coming up now. Okay. And they are like in different colors. Okay. And each color represents each one of us here. Okay. I think the blue represents the use cases, the members. Okay. This orangish or yeah, let me call it as orange for now. This light orange represents CIMMYT. Okay, and the green represents all of us together. Okay, so each process is going to be owned by or responsible, like we are going to be responsible for each of the process. So what I mean here, if you want to implement this kind of a system, okay, first of all, we need to kind of define the scope, which region, which crop, which language. That I would leave it to you. Okay, then the language model evaluation, which we are doing it, which I've already done it, and we'll continue to do it as the technology evolves. Corpus collection, yeah. So corpus collection, the knowledge should be provided by the members, and we'll be helping them to web scrap it to make it easier. Defining the category and subcategory that the members should do, which will help in the process. Meta tagging of the documents that the members should do. That's where the local knowledge is, right? And creating local compendium, we'll do together. Translation of the regional language to text to English and vice versa, that CIMMYT can do. Validation of the translation, of course, the local entity should do that, because the translation is a major thing. We want hyper what do you call contextualized. Constructing the knowledge corpus into vector embeddings that we can do. Integrating the vector DB into the RAG model, we are doing it, and integrating the model into WhatsApp using API. Or if not for WhatsApp, IVRs or any other media can be ingested any have if maybe. And iterative evaluation to optimize, that's all of us together. So this is what kind of defines or takes for all of us to do this kind of a solution. Okay, so let me move to the next one. Okay, this is the academy. Okay, for some reasons we all kind of got started with AgroTutor as a common framework within CIMMYT, okay, with our digital innovations, and we kind of started calling them AgroTutor Genie, AgroTutor Academy, kind of a thing. Yeah. So Academy, this is a platform which can kind of host courses that are created by different organizations, use cases, entities, okay, and using a learning management system, which would be able to deliver the content to the farmers one-on-one, okay, through WhatsApp. Okay, it could be to the farmers, technicians, field workers, or anybody that you name. You can create that content, micro videos, micro audios, micro courses in audio, video, and other things, and you can kind of convert them into a WhatsApp course, and then you can roll it out, and it's going to be one-on-one. It's not a WhatsApp group. It's not forwarding something to somebody. It is actually a structured learning instructional design material, okay, design material, where a person learns chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, and 4, yeah, chapter wise learnings, and with questions at end of each chapter or module, and there will be a response query and query system as well, where the learner could respond to that using the buttons there, and they could kind of get an evaluation done with those questions at end of each chapter or module, and based on the scoring method that the instructional designer has created, the learner will also get certificate automatically with their name. Okay, so this is what the academy is, and this is an example of a course. So this is the learning management system where the course can be uploaded, managed, and everything, which is more for the organizations or the use cases. And this is the actual course. So here, I mean, this is a course in Tamil, which is a regional language in India. Yeah, and this is like, okay, you can have these are like chapters, and I have a button to click, and once I click this button, it goes to the next, and an audio comes in, and then you can see an example of video, an example of question and answer. Here the questions are being asked with a multiple, choose the correct answer, and they kind of respond to that with that. Okay, so it's a learning management system, a modular WhatsApp-based chatbot, local languages, and no need for separate apps for farmers to install anything. Just to kind of quickly show you how does this work, right? Again, I hope you're seeing my WhatsApp screen already. Yeah, so I have just enrolled myself today in a WhatsApp course, which is on what is this? Yeah, how to start collecting data to improve agriculture decision making. Imagine this is a course that is required for your extension workers or technical people, right? So I just clicked on next, and then I play a video. I can seek through the video with audio.
These increasingly accessible tools benefit farmers and require the development of digital skills to maximize secondary data. Are you ready to start collecting data and improving your agronomic practices in any way you want? You bet you are.
So I finished this module of video. I'll click on the next. I don't know what's next going to come. And I can learn it at my pace. You see, I did this at 10:30, and now I've clicked next, and now this chat has been completed. Go to the next chapter. Okay, good. And next chapter, I get an audio.
Introduction to Agricultural Data Collection, Getting Started. Embarking on the journey of agricultural data collection is a crucial step towards informed decision-making and improved crop management.
So then if I finish this, I can click on next. So like this, I can keep going on as a learner. And as soon as I finish it, I'll have questions to respond. And also what you call, and if I complete the entire chapters, I mean the entire syllabus and everything, I could get a certificate as well. Okay, so this kind of goes on. And how does it manage for a use case, right? So you have here AgroTutor Academy, and there are, okay, we already have some courses. I'll talk about it a bit later. So I just want to kind of show you, I don't know which course is this, how to start collecting. Yeah, this is the course, right? Yeah. So this is the dashboard for the course developers. Okay, so for example, if you have developed a course, say agronomy practices of maize for Kenya. Okay, so you have developed this course and you have rolled out to 21, total 29 learners. You have 20 learners connected, inactive learners are 9, completed 3, ongoing 2, not yet started 24. Okay, and you have this, and you have want to see where the learners are stuck, how they are. So all the learners are there, and you can activate a learner, remind a learner, okay, saying that, come on, you have not touched it for a long time. So this is me. So I can kind of see, and I can also see my log. I mean, me in terms of me as a user here, learner here. So my log also can be seen to kind of understand where I have stopped. Let me show the last few screens. Yeah, because yeah, you see. So I started the course today morning 10:30. Okay, and then I came back again and 2:34 now, and I clicked on this. So this is where I am, and finally I'm kind of stopped here. So if I want to kind of send a reminder, I can do that. So it's entirely kind of what you call intuitive and help the learners to track and kind of make them to learn. Yeah, and you can send reminders if they have not learning the course for a longer time, and all those things are available. And so as I mentioned, like we have already some 20 courses, okay, but all in different languages. There are few in English, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, no, 7 courses in English. Okay, and a couple of them in Spanish and a couple of them in Indian languages, 3 in different Indian languages. So maybe if one thing, I mean, if you want to kind of develop your own course, please go ahead. We can guide you in terms of how to do it. You can do it on your own, and we'll be helping you to kind of put it on the platform. Okay, the platform that I just showed, and you can kind of roll it out. Okay, so that is option 1, which can be done entirely, okay, by you. I mean, the content which is relevant to you. The second option is if you think any of these courses are relevant to your audiences, your group, you can just share us the details, the numbers and the names of those people, and we'll be kind of able to share the course with them, and they'll be learning, and you'll have the access to the dashboard to kind of see where they have learned, I mean, what they have done and all those things. The metrics is available. So this is about the Learning Network Academy, the AgriTutor Academy. So basically you can create your own course, develop it. We'll guide you on that process. Okay, the instructional design process, we can guide you, and then you can what do you call host the course on the Learning Network Management System, and then you can roll out. Another option, if you think that, okay, something here, for example, how to set up my basic functions of my phone for farming practice. I think there was a question just before, like in terms of innovation skilling. So that course could be rolled out. So those are the options we have. Yeah. So this is about the academy. Danny, I mean, do you think that we should pause here, reflect, and then move to the next one, or should I continue?
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Satish. At this point, we're seeing how WhatsApp can be leveraged on to be able to deliver courses. Let's just simply have an open discussion on this. What do you think about this platform? How can we be able to ensure that farmers can be able to use this platform? Are the farmers also using WhatsApp? If yes, what would be the best delivery mechanism and for them to get some of these courses? Let's just have a quick open discussion here, or questions, or any feedback. We open the floor at this point. Yes, Peter.
Thank you very much. I think it's a very, very useful tool, but for the application at the last mile, my take would be, because we have people like the digital connectors or agripreneurs who are useful, I think they should be the entry point, which can be able to link with the farmers. But we have some other farmers, of course, who are educated and they have got smartphones. They could be able to use this. It would be very, very useful. Of course, for the farmers, they are not doing it for them to get certificate, but because they are agripreneurs and the youth, the digital connectors would really require this certificate for their own career progression and all that. I think that one would be very, very useful for them to be able to adopt this. Now, number two, we can also be good to be able to put some of the informations like the entrepreneurship within this framework. And I think it would be very, very useful. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Peter. I'm just looking at whether there is someone else who has feedback. Meanwhile, Satish, you could probably be able to respond to that or make any respective additions.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, I do agree that in many contexts, especially in Africa, farmers still may not use WhatsApp. Okay. So wherever farmers are advanced or in terms of using WhatsApp, we could use it. But I mean, I think this is more primarily, if you look at the topics as well, right? It is more targeted towards the extension services or the N-1. Okay, where we think maybe lead farmers or some youngsters who might be having WhatsApp or extension workers who could use this. That's one thing. And the second thing is like, which is also relating to the one of the previous questions that was raised in terms of, okay, we have so much of things for the production aspects of the agriculture, but what about the market linkages and everything, right? And that is where more innovations are coming, and that is primarily some entrepreneurial thing, and we can think about developing courses on those areas, right? Which farmers do really need, or the entrepreneurs do really need, and kind of use this platform to deliver. And for those kind of entrepreneurs, I'm sure they will be already using WhatsApp, I assume that. Okay, so that should be possible. I mean, we should kind of think about we should not go with the same think of like the usual routine production things everywhere. Okay, we should also think about market linkages and kind of things. And in one of the key things, like one of the first course that we launched was in a rural setup in India. Okay, where it was on using cow dung and what do you call some organic elements to create organic fertilizer. Okay, so a women group had seen the course, they kind of continued the course, and they went to the center, they kind of learned it further, and they started their own business in terms of producing organic fertilizer. And then and it's a women entrepreneur. There's a story around that. Maybe I can share the link later, but it's a very interesting story that came up. I mean, we were surprised. To be honest, when I started the platform, I was not even kind of imagining that something like that would happen. But yeah, so I think that's a good thing. I mean, we should focus more on the entrepreneurial things and other things beyond the production practices as well. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much, Satish. One of the things that agripreneurship right now is one of the key demands that region. There are subscription trainings that are coming up regarding to agripreneurship. I know that there's a training coming up in Kenya, I think in late September, promoting agripreneurship. But coming back to the discussion, the chat room monitoring it, Abigail is inquiring whether the certificates are awarded to participants after the WhatsApp trainings. Then Beatrice Ruzobe from Uganda, she mentions that at farmer level, we can interest farmer trainers who are especially youth. So this is creating a specific target of the youth to be able to use to take on the courses based on the fact that I think over 70% of the youths who own smartphones mainly use it for WhatsApp as a media for communication or chatting and engagement. Then Asma has another question, is that I have a question regarding farmers. Who live in remote areas with no electricity and internet connect? What are the best methods to be used with them? So I think that is a target specific to the farmers who have inadequate technologies. And the last one comes in from Jacqueline. She says the farmers can do it, but the challenge with e-platforms is completion. What plans or guidance can be given to them to be able to ensure completion of these courses? Within the platform, are there mechanisms to be able to gauge? Because I know you mentioned about reminders and so forth. If you remind and then someone doesn't still complete the course, what next? Satish.
Yeah, I mean, we can only do so much. We can only remind people, we can target like why they are learning and kind of things. But if they're not able to complete, maybe you announce some kind of incentivization process. Okay, we can think about them. Okay, maybe if you finish a certificate, then you kind of show the certificate in input dealer to kind of avail some discounts or something like that. I mean, that's something which we can note. Okay, these are all like very local and context specific. How can we spark and sustain their interest in e-learning? Okay, another example, these are very micro courses. We should not kind of aim at like longer courses. I have multiple micro courses. Okay, people just read. And I had met one of the, what do you call, learner of this course. She's also from Tamil Nadu. And when I visited her, she told me like she finished the course in like 2 hours. I said like, how come? And she said like, I had a baby, I had fever. I carried the baby on my shoulders, and still by walking, I learned it because it was very intuitive. It was asking me like next. I was like curious to know what is next. So then I go next, then I was curious, and then it asked some questions. So I responded. So I mean, my interest level increased. So yeah, that's what I learned as a key thing from coming from one of the learners. So that we can kind of, in terms of sustaining the thing, make it shorter, make it more interesting, this thing. Yeah, I mean, definitely, I mean, this is going to be targeted intervention. This cannot be like you create some course and use it for everyone. That's not going to be useful at all. Yeah. And the completion as well, I just mentioned about it. I responded to that. Yes, at the farmer level, we can interest farmers. Yeah. Certificates are awarded to the participants so they can download a e-certificate. And I actually was trying to kind of see, at some point, I remember I myself finished a course and tried downloading a certificate long back. I mean, when we launched the platform, I'm trying to kind of see if I still have the certificate here, or otherwise I can show you at some point. Yeah, I don't know. This is a Gujarati course. This is a different course. Yeah, but certificate is definitely there, which also includes your name. I mean, whoever has created the course coordinator, and the local organization's logo goes in the course. I mean, those are things which in the CMS, in the learning management system, we put it.
Yeah, I can see Beatrice's hand is up. Beatrice?
Thank you very much. I logged on not from the beginning, but I'm just wondering whether this is the only, whether if someone who has not participated now can be able just to go through something, can go through and follow, or the people have to actually attend this, this presentation, which is giving out. Because I'm just thinking about our team here. They are actually, we have the digital connectors, we have the master trainers who would actually benefit from this. But I've seen that I think they had, some of them, I know that they are involved in the field activities. How do we purposely mobilize those, and so that they can be, they can take on this?
Thank you very much, Beatrice, for that question. Just a number of questions that are coming in also through the chat is that the associated learning certifications. I think we have answered that question about satisfactions. Stephen Rabil is asking, he says, this service is powerful. Thank you for presenting it. My question relates to cost for the end user. How much do micro courses cost? What is the data usage? Is data usage also a cost? Yeah, thank you.
For the end user, yes, the cost is just their data, okay, which is the WhatsApp. I would say it's going to be very minimal unless you have too many videos and things, but it is very negligible in terms of what they're going to get. Okay, that is what the end user, but there are costs associated to us. Okay, for example, WhatsApp is not free for these kind of things. We have to pay for WhatsApp, okay, per message in a 24-hour conversation thing. But even that, I would say, going there and getting a course done and things, if you kind of calculate the return of investment, it is very negligible.
Thank you.
And mine is my
Just
question.
to respond to Beatrice. Beatrice,
Yeah,
this is very important to all of us, and that's why we were able to circulate widely. Within that, we are going to circulate to those who are not able to participate, because you can realize it's more of an interactive session. While they are listening to recording, they'll only be able to listen, but they'll not be able to interact the way we are interacting, but they can send their comments or feedback on the emails that they'll use to receive this. So that's what we are going to do. If you realize there's anyone within your network who should have engaged and was not able to engage, it will be upon you to share with them and maybe receive their feedback, because we all want to engage and co-create a solution as we said it as we were beginning this process. Thank you for raising that.
Okay.
Thank you, Edie. Satish, I think we can proceed. Oh, I'm seeing another interesting question. How will the AI system adapt to unexpected events such as pest outbreaks, extreme weather? Satish.
You see, AI system doesn't work on its own. Okay, it's something what we feed is what the AI system interprets it. Okay, so that's one thing. So it depends on what input we feed in. That's one thing. Okay, but AI systems generally, I mean, not the system that I shown you just now, but generally AI systems have the capacity to kind of forecast and predict. Okay, and that's what we are doing in other research areas. Okay, not what I'm kind of sharing today, but generally that's what we are doing as well.
Yeah, thank you. I'm seeing a very interesting question from Congo, DRC, from Asen. He asks, how can we ensure that all farmers, including those in remote areas, have access to the proposed digital platforms? What training programs will be implemented to help extension agents and farmers effectively use these new technologies? Yeah.
Hello, Daniel.
Yes.
Yeah,
Dr.
allow me to respond to that, and it's in line with also what has been raised from Uganda. I think these questions also at this particular time, they should be more of your personal reflection, and then how then we shall move forward. Because now something like on training programs, I was just reflecting when the agri-tutor and was being presented, then I was like, oh, then this means that, for instance, in DRC, Shimanga, where you're coming from, you have maybe institutions that are doing farmer training. Get them on board and they see this opportunity, as Edie has said. You can use this session to understand how then can we improve our training programs, because we are learning together, we are relearning, we are reformulating what has been done traditionally into a new dispensation of using ICT, AI, and digital tools. So some of these questions, let's use them to reflect on our own and say, okay, internally, then what does it mean for training programs? Internally, what does it mean for the Uganda team that is doing maybe digital agriculture extension? So that now when we start the engagement, further engagement processes, it is about where you see the opportunity and we co-create a solution, because the solution may not be in the 20 apps, for instance, courses, but the solution is that when we are presenting this catalog, it is triggering us to think backwards internally, in our own localities, and say, how then do we utilize this to build on what is already happening in the country context? Because the countries, you know them better, you know the programs that you're doing. Let's reflect and say, okay, if this is what is happening, how do I bring it into my context? And then we build something that is helping us to move forward. Because some of these are based on historical narratives, what CIMMYT has learned, the opportunities they are seeing. And so they're giving us a blank check for us to fill in what we think is applicable to us, and so that we accelerate agriculture extension in our context. And I could feel the momentum among the participants that this is very relevant. Think internally, in your country, in your institution, in your professional opportunities. How then do we even remodel what CIMMYT is giving us as part of adaptation in our countries? I think let's move in that direction, and then we shall get something very workable out of this engagement. Over to you, moderator, and CIMMYT and Satish.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rosmita. I saw Satish trying to show sample satisfactions that can be awarded. And I think this clearly shows, thank you very much for bringing it up. This clearly shows the framework of which e-learning is the new direction or dimension of e-learning based on social media tools. I'm happy to share that previously when we did an assessment in Malawi during the extension week, we found out that I think 70% of the users attributed to using WhatsApp as a method of engagement. And we asked, do the extension users, are they using WhatsApp to be able to channel out this information? And the answer was really very promising. They attributed that WhatsApp was one of the key ways that they extend content to the respective farmers or that they engage with for advisory services. So now, looking at digitalization, we are seeing a blend of social media in delivering knowledge through courses and content. And I think this has come out so much clearly from this respective discussion. And Satish, I'm going to ask, let's proceed with our respective presentation. I think we have another session to go with.
Yeah. So the next one is now data. Okay, so as you could see, this is what we believe at CIMMYT, and this is what we have been believing for the last 10 years, and where we are also kind of seeing impacts of them, okay, in other platforms. So data collection is very key for digital agriculture. So we have platforms to collect data using mobile, WhatsApp, IVRS, okay. And this is where your farmer registry also comes in. Okay, I'll kind of talk about it later. So we have a proper system to collect the data, which is called e-agrology. Okay, and then a proper ETL process to clean the data, then analysis process with our high frequency monitoring systems, and helps us to kind of create dashboards and then provide advisories, and then like for monitoring and evaluation purposes as well. So we have the data collection is for two levels. One is for taking decisions, which is basically taking action with the agronomy data based on the analysis, and the other one is for monitoring and evaluation. So we have a mobile app, web interface, WhatsApp bots, IVRS, and dashboard builders to kind of do that. Okay, so I'll quickly show you how farmer registries, how we are envisioning farmer registries. Especially, I did see a question from Sudan as well, and we are kind of working in Sudan, and we are now also planning to implement some of the things in Sudan as well. So this is an example in terms of what we are thinking to do in terms of farmer registry using QR codes and what something called biometric based digital identity. So I'll just play this video. It doesn't have an audio, and this is in Spanish. So this is data collection process, which kind of gets the farmer identity from the national system. What the PDF you got is from the national system of Mexico, which is called CURP. You can see the CURP repeating in many of the things. So you just need to say hi. And whether your national farmer registry needs to be verified using blockchain. Yes, and then you verify it. So this is to kind of create farmer registry and verify it over blockchain from based on the national systems, and then you start collecting the identity. So this is verified, and then now you collect the normal data collection process. And this is the agronomy data collection. The first one is the farmer registry, and this is the agronomy data collection of every field. How extension services can use this to record their activities or farmer activities, like what they cultivate, how they cultivate. And the same thing can also be used to kind of monitor extension people, whether they have gone to the field, whether they have interacted with the farmers. So you kind of get the area immediately. So this is primarily a tool which can be used by the technical staff or the extension services, okay, when they interact with the farmers and everything, in terms of what they cultivated, all the practices. and where we create data valid to the farmers. So where whatever data has been collected will be in the custody of the farmers unless they authorize it, it doesn't go out or not being kind of used by others. So this is the entire report about that particular farm. So if you have any use cases which is working on certification process, if you have any, especially cocoa growing farmers, high value crop growing farmers, for those people this would be helpful, especially coffee and those kind of things. Okay, but also for I mean, in Mexico the scenario is slightly different, where companies like Kellogg's, Nestle, and all those MNCs procure commodities from farmers. They would need to have certification in terms of whatever they have applied, how much fertilizer they applied, and all those things, and then they would procure only that. So farmers need to have that certification process, so they kind of collect the data here and keep it. But otherwise also it can be used in other instances for your project monitoring, okay, whereby you can have your project, for example, seed distribution, okay, for example, capacity building trainings, or other interventions that you do in your agriculture projects, okay, those could be recorded and those could be added as a dashboard, and you can have your own dashboards and things. So this is, I mean, if you have used ODK, then this is beyond ODK, okay, which has everything integrated. You have a mobile app, you have WhatsApp, and you can create your own forms. You don't need any technical support from our side if it is a simple form. And this can be also rolled out as a farmer registry, like the one I showed you before, that was in Spanish, but yeah, as farmer registry. In fact, especially this would be more interesting and useful for what do you call high conflict prone areas. Yeah, I mean, you can have QR based cards as well given to the farmer. Once you register, you can give QR code based cards. And next time when you do an intervention, when your extension staff goes, you don't need to re-enter the details. You can just scan the QR based card and then enter the additional details that you of the intervention, and then you can add to it, which we have implemented in Kenya, which we have implemented in Zambia as well. And now we are actually planning something for Sudan in the future. So maybe, Daniel, I'll stop here again. I know we are running out of time.
Yeah, thank you very much. One thing about this e-agroecology, this is a project that we're still looking at, and I'm going to encourage participants to be able to give feedback once we start the respective implementation of this. I'm going to request Dr. Rosmita to come in here, because she'll be engaging in this discussion as she flows into how can we be able to reimagine these digital tools.
Okay, thanks, Daniel. Thanks, Satish, for giving us this open check. That's how I call it, because for me, it is exactly what we're doing in the physical extension. And so we are leapfrogging now into digital extension to deliver exactly what we were aspiring to deliver, with difficulty in the digital extension. Because remember, our backdrop is that the ratio of farmer to extension is so wide, it is widening and it's getting exponential, because very soon we shall not even be able to tag the numbers, because now at least we can say 1 to 1,000, 1 to 10,000, 1 to 20. But I think as we are moving on and on, especially in the Africa landscape where things are complex, fragile, and dynamic at the same time with the changing agrarian landscape, we may be now not very sure that we shall even be able to tag the numbers of the farmers precisely. So with this kind of digital systems, it helps us that actually the numbers is no longer the issue, but how to get to the last mile farmer. That is why the e-agrology is very handy, because we're trying to run after the last mile farmer or the field-based farmer. And so when we use the digital systems, we no longer need to run with our legs. We no longer need to run with our arms to touch the farmer's fields, but we need only to run with our brain and use the digital system, and the digital system will reach the farmer with precision in what we want to get. Because what we want to get, for instance, when Satish was demonstrating, we were seeing that you can even map the field that you have visited. You can be able to collect the data. And one also interesting element is that you can even be able to have a business card for the farmer. You know, I don't know the right digital English, so I use the social English. So we are also seeing that the e-agrology, for instance, gives us a business card for the farmer, because the farmer doesn't want to know that I'm a special in this, but you know the physical location, the name of the farmer, the farming system, the crops that are there that they are interested in, and you're able to keep that business card in a digital form. And as Satish has explained to us, that when you want to revisit the farmer, you don't need to get DSA, you don't need to arrange a travel, you don't need to do that. You only need to activate your digital business card of the farmer and then continue to engage with the farmer for more information or for more advisories. So colleagues, I would like to hear your feedback. I was trying to emphasize how relevant is this in the context of agriculture extension and advisory services, especially in the Africa landscape. DRC, for instance, is a very unique landscape from, say, Malawi or Zimbabwe or even Madagascar or Nigeria or Burkina Faso. So these kind of differences in the landscape for Africa is what makes these digital tools more appropriate. So let's listen from you. What is your feedback? What do you envision? What do you see? Is this the way I am seeing it? What changes do you think we have in terms of opportunities to utilize these kind of digital-based platforms? Let me hear from your country cases, the opportunities, what you see, the relevance, and any promising attribute or the game changer attribute for these digital platforms. Over to you, colleagues online, as we give some rest to Satish to take us to the next level. Let's engage. Let's listen to you. Are we speaking to certain countries and not speaking to you? Do you have a unique context? I would like to see hands up and I'll drop. Do we see something unique in your country that we think that was not being given attention in this kind of digital platforms? Can I hear your feedback on this? In the delivery methodologies of extension, like training, I can see this is also a game changer for training. Start thinking internally, how is this going to change our conventional or traditional agriculture extension and advisory services and systems that we have been working with? Any feedback from you? Can I see your hands up?
I can see Beatrice, but before Beatrice goes, let me just air out what is coming out from Stephen from the province of Dukwilu in DRC. He says it's impossible.
Stephanie?
He
Stephanie or
says,
Stephen?
It was Stefani
Kumaluta.
If possible,
Stefani, which is
if possible, to organize face-to-face training for this new approach, which is very innovative for agricultural popularization. See how to be in some member countries. He quotes himself. I think this is a mode of engagement because it's looking at the way in which technology is being expounded here. This helps to solve the extension to farmer ratio. Probably that answers it. Then we have at least 2 hands up from Beatrice and then from Peter. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. I think you've said part of what I was going to ask, whether it is not possible really to have for the in-country to plan for that. But also I see this as an opportunity, answering Rosmita's question. I see it as an opportunity of expanding on the already ongoing initiatives, like the digital connectors for farming communities, both in Uganda and Kenya. And actually it can even be expanded to another country. And also, we also have the master trainers. Definitely, all these need to reach as many farmers as possible. And remember, Rosmita, when recently we are talking about how do we scale out the digital connector approach. So that is it.
Yeah, thank you very much, Beatrice. And colleagues, this is what we are saying. Use this to reflect internally to you, and then you start generating propositions on how this can be utilized. Because as AFAAS, we are also generating multiple initiatives on digitalization. So this is not the only one, we have others. And so we are building an Africa-wide archetype for digitalization of AES. So it would be very useful for you who are the frontline users in the application of these tools to now start thinking internally, and you come into the Secretariat, for instance, with ideas on, I think having learned this and this from this presentation, this is how we propose to uptake or to apply or to integrate what we are already doing, because you know better what you are doing. And for us as AFAAS Secretariat and partners upstream, would like to grab every opportunity that can be used for domesticating digitalization of AES. So Beatrice in Uganda, as UFAS in Uganda, these are country chapters. For colleagues who are not familiar with the framework, we have country fora, which represent the work that we do at the regional secretariat or the Africa-wide initiative. So those in your countries, start reflecting. When I see the agri-tutor, what does it mean to me in DRC? We have maybe trainings with universities. Can we engage the universities to provide maybe short training courses that are targeted for the last mile user, and we drop them in the framework? So as we have discussed with from our presentation, they still come back to the Secretariat, and we continue deliberating and framing an Africa-wide intervention for digitalization of AES. When we say AES digitalization, it means the things that we are doing traditionally as physical engagements of agriculture extension and advisory. They have not changed, but we are adding a digital component so that we can accelerate our interventions, our deliverables, our game changing of Africa landscape agriculture. So let's think in that way, whatever we see, give feedback in the relevance, how you think this fits well in your country case or in your operational case. Satish, I can see your back, so would like to give the floor back to you, unless there's I'm overriding somebody's hand up. If you,
No,
yeah,
I
we're
think
trying
that-
to
Yes,
Yes,
Dr. Just
I
one
had mine
second.
up.
okay.
Yes.
Peter, go ahead. Then we
that-
shall be able to hear from Mashaka.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think I concur with Beatrice, because we have the digital connectors which we can be able to upscale, and they could be able to pick this one up. The other thing is that we are talking of some form of training whereby we can be able to have very clear hands-on on this. And what I was looking at in terms of Kenya, because we had engaged a bit with some of the farmers, because of the issue of data protection, there are needs for us to be able to hold sensitization meetings that they can be able to understand before we are able to register them. Because I like what Satish said, that the farmers cannot be able to give the information until he gives the consent. That one is a key area which we need also to think about. But this one is really a game changer, whereby we are going to have our farmers getting information through the digital platform. But for the case of Kenya, possibly we can have more discussion because agriculture is devolved and this uptake is at county levels. So we need to now start thinking possibly on how we can engage the team who are the policymakers at the county to be able to accept this or to adopt this, because it's a very, very good tool. And I think that one we can be able to work around it as CAFAS to see that one it is done. Lastly, we have already done some training, some manuals like avocados and all that. I think that one, we can see it as very low-hanging fruits, which we can be able to use and digitalize it, and then we can be able to have access to the cooperative on this. I submit.
Thank you. Can we have a team from Madagascar voice up something here on the platform? There's a lot of input from Madagascar. Can we have your voice in French, please? You can, if you are not comfortable. Voila, we still we would allow you to voice. We would love to hear your voice. If the person is unable to speak English, like you, Vola, let's just have them speak in their comfortable language, but just air out something. Allow me, my co-facilitator, Daniel, to invite somebody from Madagascar and let them speak in their comfortable voice. Vola, or any colleague, and the translator is here. We are asking you, call on anybody from Madagascar to voice on the platform, direct in their own comfortable language.
Thank you. As I'm looking up.
Je prends la parole.
Yes, go ahead.
Oui, donc je parlais en français parce qu'il y a des collègues aussi qui sont ici au niveau de la FCA. Donc, j'ai demandé tout à l'heure par rapport au coût, au temps, pour mettre ça en œuvre parce que on a prévu de mettre en place quelque chose de ce genre, une plateforme d'échange d'informations, mais aussi de conseils agricoles en partenariat avec le ministère de l'Agriculture ici. Donc, nous sommes vraiment intéressés à mettre en place ce genre de choses au niveau national. Donc, on va mettre en place quelque chose de relatif en termes pilotes. Mais l'idée, c'est vraiment le conseil agricole. Je pense aussi que le ministère ici a déjà un grand projet en termes relatif à ça, de comment identifier un terrain avec tout ce qui est aspect pédologique, les aspects agronomiques d'un terrain, comme quoi on peut conseiller les champs, les producteurs sur les pratiques agronomiques qu'on peut utiliser par rapport à leur demande. Donc, tout ça, c'est encore un projet, mais nous, on souhaite vraiment avoir des appuis par rapport à cela. Et c'est ce que les gens redemandent. Donc, on est vraiment en attente de collaborer avec tout le monde pour faire connaître ce champ d'outils. Voilà. Mais merci beaucoup, Satish, c'est une excellente présentation.
Yeah, thanks, Vola. Merci beaucoup, Vola.
We had Meshach Sikuku's hands up and he wanted to say something. Probably we can give him the opportunity to say something, then we can be able to react. Meshach Sikuku.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm Meshach from Ripple Effect. So my reflections is that I think this comes at a better time for us because we do a lot of extension training for communities in sustainable agriculture. And one of the areas that we have been struggling about is how to digitize the training content. So, and I'm looking at this from two levels. One, digitization of learning materials from farmer to farmer or at the farmer level. So how can a farmer, take advantage of this to learn? And I really liked about, these platforms, for example, the AgroTutor. But then also we are looking at how do we build the capacity of our extension trainers, the people, the staff, the field officers who work with the farmers, which is a little bit at a higher level. So we have developed the training materials, but I think we have been struggling on how to digitalize it to take advantage of the current AI and the mobile technology to be able to learn. So I think my reflection in this session is that I think we will get in touch so that we see how do we roll out. The advantage is that we have developed some of these training materials, but they are in folders in our computers, and we need to get it out there to many people. So yeah, just to give that reflection and say that this will be very, very important for us also as a Ripple Effect to be able to digitize our training materials and reach out for more people. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Can we, I think that is, yeah. I'm going to request you, if possible, you can send an email to secretariat@AFAAS-Africa.org, and we shall be able to pick up this conversation. I'm seeing also Emmanuel Ikani's hand is up. Emmanuel, you can proceed.
Yes, Emmanuel Ikani from Nigeria, a professor of agricultural extension. I'm happy to be on this platform for this training. Let me say that the digitalization of the agri sector in the continent has become a necessity, a new normal, and we must embrace it with all our strength to facilitate it, to get it done. In Nigeria, since
The network is breaking, Emmanuel.
Now, but let me say this, that AFAAS must, of necessity, begin to facilitate it. And I want to suggest that the platform to get this, to deploy it down to the last mile is for us to target the agricultural training institutions, like the colleges of agriculture, the polytechnics, the universities, Department of Agriculture Extension. We must, as AFAAS, ensure begin to have a curriculum that will begin to teach at the colleges of agriculture, the polytechnics, the Department of Extension in the universities. This will have to be done in the training.
Emmanuel, your network, I think, is not very good.
Yes, you can hear me now.
I suggest that if possible, you can send your feedback into the chat, or you can also send it through email. We shall be able to capture it in the strategic recommendation because your network is not very good. Hope that helps.
Super. I'll get that done.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Rosmita?
Yeah, I think for me, we are getting there. As Prof has just mentioned, I was taking note here that it appears that we need to have a focused discussion on the digitalized training for AES. So I just wanted to pronounce that Prof, thanks for triggering that, and also the comment that came from our colleague in the South, that training materials are available. So can we have this working group or focused team that looks at training for agriculture extension using the digitalized instruments or platforms? So at the Secretariat, we have taken note of that. And so we shall be coming back, whoever feels that this is an area you can engage in, drop in the chat box to now have a rethinking around training for agriculture extension in the era of digitalization of agriculture extension and advisory. So let's engage, pick the content. This is the content that we want to upload. There's an ongoing project with AGRA on content digitalization. So for us, this is an opportunity our colleague who has just mentioned that you have a lot of training materials in the laptops. Please, this is the right time. AFAAS is open to have this content for uploading so that it is uploaded on the digital system for use and by the farmers and the last mile extensionists. So let's drop in the chat those who are interested in the training coming up, because we are also we are at the level of another eye of extension of recording the registry for the extension workers and farmer data. So there's also that cohort. Can you also share with us how best can we be able to capture farmer data, extension data, because we are also having a repository and a registry that Daniel is working on. So at the end of the day, you're going to find that we as AFAAS, we are going to go almost paperless on registration of extensionists and farmers. So even when you attend a meeting like this one, all your details will be uploaded on a digital system, so that maybe some time back, someone can say, I attended a digitalization presentation by CIMMYT. You simply click online and you get the details of that event. So this is where we are going as AFAAS. So let's hear your views. Where are we going in the right direction? What can we do that is customized to your institution to have an accelerated registration of farmers and also registration of extension workers? You're there on this platform as an extensionist. But when we check online, we cannot be able to trace you. There's no registry information for you. So what are those opportunities? Also, Satish, as you are checking the dashboard, if there is that element you can share with us and say, here is the opportunity to capture data for the farmers, to capture data for the extensionists, so that in future, you can just click and say, I'm an extensionist, like how we go to LinkedIn. You don't need to ask me for my business card. You go to LinkedIn and then find everything about me. This is where we are going in terms of registration for the farmers and extension. Let's hear your voices. Thank you. And over to you, my co-facilitator and the presenter, Satish.
Thank you very much. I know, Satish, you're trying to demonstrate something. Let me give you just a few, like maybe 2 minutes, such that you can be able to demonstrate that. Then also we are coming towards the top of the hour. Satish? And we shall be able to give the opportunity to our ED, who will give the closing remarks, such that we can be able to end this. So also for information, we are going to be able to compile a report of this respective engagement, and then we shall be able to share it in such that you get the feel of what's the new direction of digitalization from the AFAAS perspective, and also CIMMYT coming in as a partner to be able to roll out these respective digital tools. Let me give the floor first to Satish, then we shall come to our ED. Satish.
I just wanted to kind of show you like just what Dr. Rosmita mentioned now, right? I mean, all the records on an online platform like this, okay, which is when there's an example of a project where which is implemented in Africa, okay, where within the project, all the demonstrations, village-based advisory, seed fairs, field days, agriculture shows are being recorded, and seed production are being recorded and kind of visualized for partners, okay, where different partners report on that, and then it's kind of accumulated and the dashboard is kind of done. So this is just an example. And I also got a copy of certificate from one of my colleagues who's attending the meeting actually. Yeah, so this is the certificate.
Mm-hmm.
This is an example of the certificate. This is like where ICRISAT had developed the course and they hosted it on the platform. So it comes. So for example, if AFAAS, so we'll have the AFAAS branding. If it is UFAAS or like whoever is developing the course, they will have their branding and the QR codes and everything, the certificate. Yeah, that's all I think. Yeah, just last summarizing slides. I think we need to identify.
Before you leave that, Satish, can you go back to that platform and click on VBAs? Actually, on this in this meeting, there are CFs, country fora, that are tagged to register village-based advisors. Walk us through that a little bit, and we see. Yeah. So all the VBAs that you're going to, the CFs who are here on the AGRA project, the VBA information is supposed to go on the registry. And let's have an example of how it would be.
Yeah, so this is like country and then partner name, okay, and upload the forms and institute, date, name of the VBA, institution, and all those things. And do you have the child for this? Okay, maybe non-VBAs.
Yeah, even agro dealers, the seed, because they're also collecting data on the agro dealers. These are the seed, yeah.
One second. My colleague here is helping me, because I'm not so familiar with the actual day-to-day, yeah.
No, it is fine. For us, we can understand it because we've been doing this in the physical. So we are seeing it in the digital.
Yeah, so this is like all the records are updated there. Okay. And what else, Pranamya? What else you wanted, Dr. Lilian?
I think we are fine. Click on breeder seed production. Those are the, yeah. If we can see it, it is similar to what we are preparing here. So yeah, okay. So colleagues, I think on the AGRA project, this is some of the things that we are trying to come up with. When we go for the trainings that we are going to have for the seed producers, the VBAs, and the PPE, the extension is, these are some of the trainings. When you talk about digitalization, we shall be bringing into context how their work that they have been doing with the manual activities will be digitalized. So I think you can already envision that it is being done by CIMMYT. And so when we introduce it during our trainings, it is not something new. It is something that is being done. And so how we shall soon be working with CIMMYT to see how we accelerate this, because we are doing acceleration of the interventions. So digital registry of the VBAs or the seed producers or the public extension is going to be faster, because we are going to benchmark such existing platforms. I thought this is important for Uganda, Malawi, Rwanda, Burkina Faso, and Nigeria that are implementing, plus Kenya and Mali that are implementing the AGRA-supported project for digital registry for the VBS and the agro dealers, plus the public and private extensionists. So we already have a prototype. We are not going to create anything new. And so we thank you. That's why we said, Satish, you're giving us an open check. So now we are starting to put in figures in the check. So anytime we come and say we have done this, know that we are building on what CIMMYT has helped AFAAS to do. Thank you. I give back to you for the interest of time. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Let me give the opportunity back to our ED, Dr. Lilian, who will be closing this webinar.
Hi. Thank you very much, team. Thank you very much, each of us, for being here. I can say actually it has been a good webinar. Actually, for us as AFAAS, we are excited because we've been able to meet our objective, because we just wanted to interact, to hear from us what is happening on the ground. As I said on the opening remarks, many times we talk about digital extension and advisory services. We are not thinking about doing away with the human face, but we are seeing how can the two work together to ensure that we deliver. And when we were able to listen to CIMMYT and look at the tools that they have, we thought this could be good for us as extension experts to deliver to the last mile. But as AFAAS, we thought it's not for us only. How can we co-create these solutions so that when we start implementing, we are all part and parcel of it to adopt it? And I'm so excited just to listen to the engagement, the way they have gone. For us as AFAAS team, we say thank you all for being here, for participating. I will not miss to recognize our board members who are here, Professor Ikan, Madam Victorine, Dr. Jeff, you are all been here, and the rest who I may not notice now, but I'm really grateful that we are here. This is just a process that we have started, but as we have said, and from the beginning when we had a joint meeting with the country fora in June, we want to see how can we do things differently. How can we enhance this agriculture extension and advisory service? How are we going to be more responsive? How are we going to be inclusive? Are we responding to the changing trends in the continent, or are we just doing things because we have cast them on stone? Are we going to be as inclusive as possible so that as Secretariat, we are not just doing things at the Secretariat level, but we are including all the key stakeholders? And I'm happy because of this, we really understand now we have content in different places. And this is the content we have been saying scientists have developed and it's in the shelf. So for now, we can see how can we ensure that this content gets to the ground. And I think that's why we are here. I really want to appreciate all of us for this engagement. But before I close, I want to call upon Professor Emmanuel Laikan, who is actually one of our board members in charge of us as a programs team. This falls directly under the programs team, and we'll just ask you to give us closing remarks. I hope your internet will behave well at this time. Welcome, Professor Ikani.
Thank you for the opportunity. I want to appreciate you, ED, for inviting us on this. Hello, you hearing me? Are you hearing
Yes,
me?
Prof,
Yes,
we
Prof.
can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so I want to, like you just mentioned, we need to do things differently. Agricultural sector in the continent, extension services is key, is the game changer, like I've always said. And so we must brace up, must facilitate, and get across to the nooks and corners of the continent to stand our ground and to now push out the relevance of extension in the agricultural sector. And I want to, like we just said, if we must go digitally, we must also embrace the value chain approach and then try to facilitate the inclusion of the youth. Digitalization is mostly in their domain. And if you can do the value chain approach so that at the level of input, at the level of cultivation, at the level of processing, storage, even credit, access to credit, and price, commodity prices, and agriculture will be politically inclusive, and our continent need it. Thank you for including me. I'm grateful. Like I promised, I'm going to do a concept note about my input to this and then send to the email. I also send it to the ED in the next few hours. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. Thank you, all of us. We really appreciate. We'll continue with these interactions until we are able to create a solution that is relevant to us as a continent. We really appreciate you. Those that have something to incorporate, maybe you can just respond to the Secretariat email that invited us. As we said, we are going to share this recording so that you are able to share with other extensionists so that they can also add value to what we have. You can continue engaging them because you have been part of this and maybe they needed to interact more. Let them be able to join us in the next session. Satish, thank you very much for your availability and all that you've been able to do. Do you have any remarks before we close off?
No, I mean, this is fantastic engagement. I mean, with the partners, I mean, this has been really great. Only one thing I would just kind of mention and conclude is like, we all have to move together. It cannot be like you or me, it's together. So let's take this as the first step of that.
Thank you very much. Leaving no one behind. We are going to be as inclusive as possible to interact with research. We have realized even the universities have knowledge. We'll have to bring in education. And there, as we said, this is just operationalization of the ARIS. We talk of CGIAR, we have the research, we have the education forum, we have the extension AFAAS, and we have all of us. No one being left behind. Well done, team. Well done, everybody. See you in the next session.
Thank you all. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.